All right, get ready because we are diving deep into Harry Potter casting rumors today.
Always fun.
Oh yeah, especially this one. The internet is buzzing about Cillian Murphy as Voldemort.
Wow.
I know, right? In HBO's new series. And guess what? Ralph Fiennes, the original Voldemort,
No way.
yes, has actually given his thoughts on the idea.
I am so ready for this deep dive.
Me too. This is gonna be good. It's wild how much fan casting gets people talking.
It really does. Especially for something as visually established as Harry Potter. I mean, casting is everything for adaptations.
Yeah, for sure. Everyone's got their own picture in their head of these characters.
Absolutely.
Okay, but before we get too deep into all the speculation, let's just, start with the basics.
Ground ourselves.
Exactly. So HBO's definitely making a new Harry Potter series,
They are.
and they're saying it's going to be a faithful adaptation of the books.
That's the key phrase, right? Faithful adaptation. Everyone's debating what that even means.
Well, yeah, I mean, will it be like a shot-for-shot remake? Or will there be room for, some creative interpretation?
Huge questions.
Exactly. We'll have to wait and see, I guess. But for now, let's talk about Cillian Murphy.
Okay.
Because he's the possible Voldemort we're talking about. If you haven't seen him in anything, he's been in a lot of great stuff.
Oh, yeah.
Peaky Blinders,
Classic.
Inception, Oppenheimer. He was even Scarecrow in the Dark Knight trilogy.
Oh, and don't forget, 28 Days Later.
Oh, right.
Which is interesting because guess who he's working with on the sequel, 28 years later.
Wait a minute. You're telling me the original Voldemort and the potential new Voldemort are working together?
It's true. Ralph Fiennes himself.
Whoa! Okay, so what does Fiennes think about Murphy taking on the role? Like stepping into his, villainous shoes?
Well, get this. He's totally on board. Fiennes actually said, Cillian is a fantastic actor. I actually think that's a wonderful, wonderful suggestion. I would be all in favor of Cillian.
Wow, he really gave him the Voldemort stamp of approval.
He did.
Especially because Fiennes had said before that he'd be interested in playing Voldemort again himself.
Yeah.
So this really shows he thinks Murphy's a great actor.
It really does. You gotta wonder what Fiennes sees in Murphy.
Right. Like, what makes him think Murphy would be such a good Voldemort?
Exactly.
That's what I want to know.
Yeah.
Like, what are the things that make a truly great Voldemort? Those little details that make him so scary and unforgettable.
That's a good question. One thing that comes to mind is that he has this quiet intensity.
Right, he's not like some loud, over-the-top villain.
No, not at all.
He's more, calculated, controlled. Even when he's just standing there, he's menacing.
Exactly. It's that underlying threat. Like, he's always thinking a few steps ahead.
Chillin'.
Totally. And we can't forget that he's also charismatic. He's a brilliant wizard who convinced tons of people to follow him.
Oh yeah, he had a whole army of Death Eaters.
Exactly. So you need an actor who can pull off both sides. The charm and the ruthlessness.
Okay, so with all that in mind,
Yeah.
do you think Cillian Murphy could do it? Could he really be Voldemort?
Well, he's definitely got the intensity. Look at him in Peaky Blinders as Thomas Shelby. There's this darkness to him, and you never know what he's going to do next. It's captivating.
True, but Voldemort's menace is very specific.
It is.
So that's the big question. Can he pull that off?
That is the question, isn't it? There's actually another interesting thing about this whole Murphy as Voldemort thing.
Oh, what's that?
Apparently, there's a rumor that he was considered for a role in the original Harry Potter films.
Wait, really? What role?
Young Tom Riddle in Chamber of Secrets.
No way.
Yeah, that's what people are saying.
Wow, imagine Cillian Murphy as young, brooding Tom Riddle. It's like a whole different wizarding world.
Right. It makes you wonder if even back then there was something about him that just screamed, "Future Voldemort!"
It's crazy. Do you think maybe even just auditioning for that role could have stayed with him? And now, inform how he'd play Voldemort now?
It's definitely possible. You never know how these things influence you.
Okay, but we have to remember, those are just rumors.
Sure.
We don't actually know for sure if those conversations ever happened or if they were even serious.
Right. Always good to be a little skeptical.
Yeah? But still, it's fun to think about.
It is. And even if it's just speculation, it adds to this whole Murphy-Voldemort connection.
It's like his name's been in the mix for years.
Exactly.
It's almost like it was meant to be. Maybe he was destined to play Voldemort all along.
Maybe. But even if Murphy doesn't end up being Voldemort, this whole thing shows how powerful fan casting is.
It's amazing how invested fans are in these characters. They want their vision to come to life on screen.
They do. And this Cillian Murphy as Voldemort thing, it started as just a fan idea.
Right.
And now look, We're talking about it. Entertainment sites are talking about it. Even the original Voldemort's on board.
It really shows how much Harry Potter still means to people. It keeps sparking conversations and making people imagine new things, even all these years after the last film.
Exactly. And it also shows that sometimes the best casting choices come from what the fans want.
Right, it's about finding an actor who really captures what makes a character special, in a way that connects with the people who love the stories.
Yeah, it's about finding that perfect actor who can bring the essence of the character to life.
Exactly. So speaking of bringing things to life, let's talk about some of those iconic Voldemort moments from the books and the movie.
Oh, I love this part.
Right. If Cillian Murphy actually played him, what scenes would you be most excited to see?
Oh, there are so many good ones. The duel in the graveyard in Goblet of Fire, that one's definitely top the list.
Oh, for sure.
Such a tense moment, so much emotion. You need an actor who can really show Voldemort's power and rage, but also how calm and in control he is throughout the fight.
Exactly. And what about that scene in Order of the Phoenix, where he possesses Harry?
Whoa, yeah, so intense.
It's a mental and emotional battle as much as it is a physical one. So the actor has to be able to show that manipulation.
Oh, absolutely. And we can't forget the final showdown at Hogwarts and Deathly Hallows.
Right.
The climax of the whole series.
Right.
You need an actor who can dominate the screen, be terrifying and mesmerizing all at once.
Okay, real talk. Do you think Cillian Murphy has what it takes to do those scenes justice? Could he really capture that pure Voldemort energy?
Well, looking at his other roles, he's definitely got the range.
Yeah.
He can play characters who are totally calm in the middle of chaos, you know? And he can switch from being charming to being menacing in a second.
Like Thomas Shelby.
Exactly. But Voldemort's not just about being scary and intimidating. He's a really complex character with a tragic backstory and a very twisted sense of purpose.
He really believes he's doing the right thing, even if his goals are world domination and, getting rid of anyone who disagrees with him.
Right. And to do the character justice, you need an actor who can explore those layers.
Yeah.
Bring some nuance to the role instead of just being evil.
So it's more than just finding someone who looks the part or can sound menacing.
Yeah.
I need to really understand who Voldemort is and make us believe in him.
Exactly. And that brings us to a question for you, our listener. If Cillian Murphy did play Voldemort, what parts of his character do you think he'd be best at?
Would it be that chilling calmness? Or his manipulative side? Or maybe that quiet intensity? What do you think?
We want to hear your thoughts. What could Murphy bring to this iconic role that we haven't seen before?
This is your chance to really think about the character and all the possibilities. There are no wrong answers. It's just your own perspective on Voldemort and how Cillian Murphy might play him.
So let your imagination go wild. Picture him in those famous scenes. Feel the tension, hear his voice. What do you see?
And just when you thought we were done with our deep dive, we've got one last twist to share.
A twist that could change everything you thought you knew about. Casting in a franchise as huge as Harry Potter.
Oh, hold on. What do you mean?
What if the casting directors aren't the only ones deciding who plays Voldemort?
Okay, now I'm really curious. Who else could be involved? It's not like the Ministry of Magic gets to say, right?
Not exactly, but maybe just as powerful. Think about Warner Bros. Discovery.
The studio behind the series.
Yeah, they probably have their own plans for where they want to take the Harry Potter franchise.
Okay. Big studio, big plans. Makes sense.
Yeah.
But how does that affect who plays Voldemort?
Well, think about it. This series is a big investment for them.
Right.
They want it to be a hit with critics and at the box office. They want to keep the old fans happy, of course, but they also need to bring in new viewers.
So they need someone who can connect with everyone. Someone familiar to older audiences, but also fresh for younger viewers. Someone who can carry a franchise.
Exactly. And that's where things get interesting. If Warner Bros. Discovery has a strategy, they might be looking for an actor who fits into that strategy.
So it's not just about finding a great actor for Voldemort. It's about finding an actor who fits their whole plan for Harry Potter.
Exactly. And that might mean thinking about things other than just acting talent. Like, how popular is the actor? Do they have a big social media following? Do they appeal to different groups of people?
It's like a giant chess game.
Yeah,
Every
exactly.
move they make affects the whole board. Every casting choice has ripple effects.
It does. And we don't know what's happening behind the scenes. But clearly there's a lot more to this casting decision than we see.
So what does this all mean for Cillian Murphy?
Well, he's hot right now because of Oppenheimer. That was a huge success.
It was. Critics loved it.
Yeah.
Audiences loved it.
Exactly. So that could actually help him. It definitely raises his profile. Shows he can handle a big project.
Plus, he just has that it factor.
Yeah.
You know, that charisma, that's something special.
Totally. And don't forget, Ralph Fiennes is backing him up.
Right, the original Voldemort himself.
Exactly. That makes a big statement. It makes the idea of Murphy as Voldemort more believable.
It's like a passing of the torch.
It is a sign of approval from one Voldemort to another.
This whole thing is starting to feel like a really well-planned symphony.
I like that.
Every part working together. But in the end, Warner Bros. Discovery is the conductor.
They have the final say.
It's their decision. But no matter who they choose, casting Voldemort will be huge for the Harry Potter franchise.
It will. It's a decision that fans and critics are going to be talking about for a long time.
Right? And it'll shape how a whole new generation sees Harry Potter.
So while we wait for the official announcement, we have one last question for you to think about.
Okay?
Knowing everything we've talked about, all the things that might be influencing this decision, how do you feel about Cillian Murphy as Voldemort now?
Do you think it could actually happen? Or is it just a fun idea? A glimpse into another wizarding world?
Whatever you think. We hope this deep dive gave you a new understanding of how casting works, the power of the fans, and the lasting impact of Harry Potter.
Until next time, may your deep dives be insightful, your conversations be lively,